Hi everyone. Normally I do this on the live section of the channel. So if you're new to the channel, basically I'm one of the best predictors on YouTube. I mean, obviously this card does not necessarily reflect that because I did terribly as far as predictions go, but um, yeah. So I do upset predictions, I do watch alongs and everything like that, but that's beside the point. So this is going to be the new home for prediction results and fight recaps or whatever it is that I'm going to be writing in the title of this particular video. So I'm going to go through the entire card for Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev and actually give you my thoughts and on the outcome of the fight. So the first fight on the card um, was Charles Johnson versus Ramazan Temirov. Um, I went with Charles Johnson. My subscribers went with Ramazan Temirov. Um, my subscribers were right in this particular fight. I honestly thought Charles Johnson would do significantly better. Um, guess I was wrong. I just felt like he had a little bit more power, height, range. I thought he would actually do significantly better. Of which is honestly confusing because if you look at the numbers, they say Charles Johnson landed about 87 strikes and Temirov landed 59 strikes. And Temirov only got one takedown as far as I can tell. And as far as significant strikes go, it seems like Charles Johnson landed 66 and Temirov landed 55, which is honestly interesting um, because Temirov ended up getting the decision. But in any case, I'm not one to dispute if I was wrong. I was wrong. My subscribers got this one right. Um, yeah, wasn't a good night for me. On to the next one. Andrea Lee versus JJ Aldrich. I went with Andrea Lee. Actually, my subscribers and I went with Andrea Lee. I felt like she was better, significantly better everywhere. But I always say it's WMMA, so anything can happen. So you have to take these fights with a pinch of salt. So uh, basically, Andrea Lee got outstruck, basically got controlled, or rather, she got, I guess, overwhelmed. That's the only way I can put it. As far as significant strides go, JJ Aldridge landed, I think, about 53%, or rather 53 significant strikes. And um, did I say JJ Aldridge? No. And Andrea Lee landed 53 significant strikes, while JJ Aldridge landed 74 significant strikes. It is what it is. It's always expected when it comes to women's MMA. That's one of the reasons why, in my upsets predictions, which I normally do on Fridays on the live section of the channel, I did say that um, this was a risky fight. I mean, I had a little bit of confidence in JJ Aldridge, but she showed me why I shouldn't have any confidence in her. But irrespective, I honestly felt like she might have been able to get it done. But yeah, I guess I was wrong on that particular end. Um, yeah, my subscribers and I got this one wrong. Um, on to the next one. Danny Silva versus Lucas Almeida. Um, this was another tricky one because Lucas Almeida is a solid fighter. I think it was a pretty close fight. Um, I don't know, man. I feel like I'd like to see Denis Silva in a couple more fights in order for me to, I don't know, make an informed decision going forward. As far as picking him and everything else that follows. But Danny Silva got it done. My subscribers and I went with Danny Silva. Danny Silva landed 85 strikes, um, got one takedown, and then Lucas Almeida landed 78 strikes and no takedown apparently. As far as significant strikes, um, Danny Silva landed 82, while Lucas Almeida landed 74. Uh, Nothing impressive in all honesty for me. Like I said, I'd still like to see a little bit more from Danny Silva. I'm not yet impressed. But yeah, on to the next one. Ricardo Ramos versus Chepe Mariscal. My subscribers and I went with Chepe Mariscal. Chepe Mariscal is a pretty solid fighter. I honestly feel like it's sad for Ricardo Ramos because I feel like he has the potential to actually be one of the best fighters in the UFC, but for some reason it's not connecting. And this is one of the sentiments I expressed when I was busy with my live videos. Basically, I feel like Ricardo Ramos is one of the most talented fighters on the UFC roster. Unfortunately, for some reason, it's not connecting for him, and this was just a pure domination from Chepe Mariscal. Chepe Mariscal landed 125 strikes, while Ricardo Ramos landed only 37. Ramos got one takedown, and Mariscal got two. I mean, as far as significant strikes, Ricardo Ramos got 37 strikes, while Chepe Mariscal landed 85. It was not even close. Chepe Mariscal is a really decent prospect for the featherweight division. I'd like to see him against a ranked contender just to see how he matches up with other athletes on that particular roster. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that is an interesting prospect. On to the next one: Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto. My subscribers and I went with Mario Pinto. I mean, I felt like Austin Lane was overrated, to be honest. No disrespect to him, but I didn't feel like Austin Lane was all that great, to be honest. He's not that great of a striker. He's a horrible grappler, and that was based on obviously previous fights, and that's why my subscribers and I ultimately went with Mario Pinto. Nothing impressive from him, but he got the finish. I think maybe sometimes we are too hard on these debuting fighters. I think Mario Pinto, especially in the heavyweight division, has the ability to grow into something impressive and interesting. So yeah, I mean, in the heavyweight division, you don't have to be that great, you know. I mean, Taito Ivasa is on a losing streak that it might potentially outdo Tony Ferguson, and is still ranked in the heavyweight division. So in the heavyweight, which is why it's surprising they actually let Jairzinho Rosenstrike go, because I felt like he was one of the few talented fighters in the UFC, and they could use him to test up and coming prospects. But it's honestly odd that there's so many people on a losing streak that have not been cut. And I get that people might say, "Oh, this guy is a star," or whatever the case is. But I mean, I don't think it makes sense for me. But it is what it is. I don't own the UFC. So yeah, Mario Pinto did decently well. I'd like to see a little bit more from him, but getting the TKO against someone who's experienced in the UFC in your debut fight, I mean, that's gotta be impressive, even if that person is Austin Lee. On to the next one, the main card: Danny Barlow versus Sam Patterson. My subscribers and I foolishly went with Danny Barlow. My subscribers, when I was live, my subscribers were coming up with names like left hand from the corner store. Like it was insane. Like, you need to join the live streams. Anyway, this was pretty terrible. But I did say that in my predictions, I wasn't too confident in the fact that Danny Barlow had a close fight with Veterinikov, and Veterinikov just lost to is it Austin? Is it Vanderford? Is it Austin Vanderford, the Paige Van Zandt's husband, or something like that? After seeing that Veterinikov had such a close fight with Danny Barlow, I was worried about this particular fight. And it looks like I was right to be worried because Danny Barlow did not look good in that particular fight. In all honesty, I felt like the only way or the best way for Sam Patterson to actually get it done would have been for him to actually grapple, right? And he got the knockout, which is something I honestly didn't anticipate happening. But it is what it is. um, Sam Patterson looked really good in that particular fight, man. I honestly thought Danny Barlow was better than he actually is. But I guess the fight between him and the Veterenikov actually exposed him a little bit. So yeah, it sucks for him, but it is what it is. I forgot to actually mention the statistics in the previous fight between Pinto versus Austin Lane. So Danny Barlow landed about 15 strikes, while Sam Patterson landed 18 total strikes. And then as far as significant strikes, I mean, it's more or less the same. Um, uh, Danny Barlow landed 15 significant strikes, while Sam Patterson landed 18. Um, Sam Patterson looked impressive. Not too impressive. I mean, we don't know how good Danny Barlow is. I guess we know now. Anyway, on to the next one. Haida Amil versus William Gomez. Um, I mean, kudos to Haida Amil. The pressure was incredible. My subscribers and I went with what do you call him, William Gomez, because I felt like the fact that William Gomez was able to get past Joe Anderson Brito, even though that was a robbery, I was giving him points for actually making it past him somehow. Um, and that's basically why I was like, I thought William Gomez won. Obviously, there's a little bit more that went into making that decision, but yeah, this was a decent fight, man. It was back and forth. Uh, my subscribers disagree with the decision. No, not necessarily. I think what happened is that the first round was Gomez's round, and then the second and third round were a little bit close. Oh no, let me not blame my subscribers. I'm the one who actually felt like maybe Gomez might have done enough a little bit towards the end of the second round. I don't know. I just felt like he stole the round, but I think the right person won. The pressure and on top of that, the exchanges were a little bit closer than they had to be. So I'm not too mad that the decision actually ended up going to Haida Emil. He was pressuring more. He was basically throwing just as much as William Gomez. And he got a bit of like a takedown, and he actually landed a couple of strikes on the ground. So I can't be too mad at the fact that he got the decision. I don't know, man. I don't know how far he can go, because I think in this particular fight it was tricky to gauge how good he is, because it largely has to do with the fact that William Gomez does not have any kind of striking abilities in close range. It seems like he does really well at a distance, and if you pressure him, he cracks. So I don't know how Haida Amil is going to do against someone who can fight at close range, because even though he was landing pretty decently, I don't think his striking is that good at close range. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm not too impressed with that particular performance. But that's me though. I could be wrong. So yeah, we'll see how he performs. But featherweight is stacked, so I don't know. Anyway, on to the next one. Esteban Ribovic versus Nazrat Hakparast. This is the fight that me and my subscribers were basically going back and forth on during our live streams. My subscribers feel like, not all of them, but a bit of them actually felt like Esteban Ribovic actually won the second round and the third round. I'm inclined to agree, but I feel like Nazrat Hakparast actually won the first round. That's not in dispute. Nasrat went on to win the first half of the second round, right? And the difference between Nasrat and Ribovics was that Nasrat was landing the more damaging shots as opposed to Esteban Ribovics, who was basically landing volume. It was more about the volume and the amount of strikes that he was landing, as opposed to what do you what do you call it, the amount of damage that he was causing. And unfortunately, as far as scoring criteria, we go with damage before anything else. And if there's no damage, then we can go to effective wrestling and octagon control, but that wasn't relevant in this particular situation. I feel like Nazarat Paras landed more significantly. I had so much confidence in Esteban Ribovics. I didn't even think Nazarat Paras had a shot in this particular fight. But man, he came through and he showed us that we are flipping wrong. I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, kudos to Nazrat, man. I think this was probably one of his best performances. I haven't seen him look like this in a very long time. Well, ever. You know, it's not even in a very long time. I've never really seen him look this good ever. Well, for as long as I've seen him fight. So I honestly, I was high, and I'm still high on Ribovics, but man, Hagparas did significantly well. So good for him, man. And terrible for me, but it is what it is. Um, so yeah, I got this one wrong. My subscribers and I went with Esteban Ribovics. This wasn't a good card for me. On to the next one. Cody Brandage versus Julian Marquez. This is another crazy fight. Because to be honest and not to be mean or anything like that, I don't feel like both of them were good. So it was honestly challenging to actually decide who I think is less terrible, to be honest. And I mean, they swung at each other really heavily. Um, at one point, I was thinking that Marquez is going to find a way to actually get it done. But I was very badly mistaken, because he ran out of gas. Because I felt like he was landing the bigger shots. I think he just gassed himself out, and that's why he ended up getting finished. Brandage looked decent, but I mean, both of them are terrible, so obviously he had to look decent. That was an exciting fight, though. I have to give them that. Yeah, I'm busy forgetting to read the statistics. I'll try to do a better job next time. But I want to make, because my channel is about statistics, I need to keep that consistent. So the fight ended in the first round. Cody Brandage landed 68 strikes, while Julian Marquez landed 53. As far as significant strikes go, Cody Brandage landed 44, Marquez landed 37. Obviously, he got the finish. I mean, Cody Brandage. So yeah, my subscribers and I went with went with Julian Marquez. Yeah, that's why I'm like, this has been a terrible, terrible card for me. But normally I do well, and I appreciate my subscribers, man. Every time I've tried to actually stop doing predictions, they've been like, dude, like, don't do that. Like, you're one of the best predictors. Just because you had a bad night, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should stop doing predictions. But I'm very competitive. I don't like losing, but I appreciate all my subscribers for for the pep talk and the words of encouragement. Yeah, on to the next one. Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev. My subscribers and I went with Manel Kape. Um, this one was a little bit interesting. I actually thought it would be a little bit more competitive than it was. Manel Kape looked huge. He looked very composed, very, very good, offensively and defensively, especially on the feet. I thought Asu Almabayev would be a little bit more of a threat than he was. I felt like he is to echo what Manel Kape's corner was saying, it felt like Asu Almabayev was a little bit scared, to be honest. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm making things up. Who knows? But yeah, it didn't look like he wanted to be in there. He was complaining too much about eye pokes. I will admit to the fact that sometimes Manel Kape was doing this with his hands, right? And I do acknowledge that, but I feel like in some instances there were punches that were landed, and he was like, "No, it's an eye poke." Especially when he was bleeding from the eye, he was saying it was an eye poke. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was an eye poke and I didn't see it. But from the get-go, man, from the first round, it just felt like he was a little bit too afraid. I don't know. Maybe when Manel Kape was landing, he felt the power. Um, uh, I mean, it was pretty sad to see, especially on the kind of long streak he's been on. You don't want to see that for the guy, but that's how life works. Some of us get picks wrong. Some of us, lose fights. I mean, that's the flow of life. um, so yeah, incredible performance from Manel Kape. I'd like to see him against Kai Kara France, or actually the winner of Steve Erceg. I mean, not Steve Erceg. Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. I felt like the flyweight division does not have that many contenders, especially if Pantoja wins. So I think Manel Kape should actually get the chance to actually be the champion. And I think he has a decent shot if he can actually manage to avoid getting taken down or controlled by Pantoja. But Manel Kape is massive, man. That's why I'm like, if ever he was able to get past Asu Almabayev, if ever Mohamed Makayev was not able to effectively out wrestle him, I think he's going to do decently well. So yeah, that was an incredible performance. I got the finish in the third round. I don't like the fact that he was busy eye poking, but it is what it is. You have to do what you have to do to it. I'm kidding, but man, that wasn't a good look. Um, Manel Kape landed 62 total strikes and Almabayev landed 40 significant strikes. Manel Kape landed 61 and Asu Almabayev landed 40. That concludes the prediction results. I think maybe, yeah, let me just do a roundup of how many predictions I got right and how many my subscribers got right. Um, I think you know what, you can count for yourself. I'm not even going to humiliate myself. um, I'm not going to even dignify this. I haven't done this bad in predictions since UFC Noche, so I'm not very happy about this, but it is what it is. If you're wondering what I'm talking about when I say subscribers pick, go to the community section. That's where the subscribers vote for who they think is going to win, who has the highest fight IQ, who is probably going to win a robbery, a variety of predictions. If the upcoming fights are risky or safe. Just go through the entire channel. I think it'll make a little bit more sense. Ask questions in the comment section. I have amazing subscribers. They will definitely respond. I'm sure a lot of people are like not happy with me, especially because they expect excellence from me. So whenever I get fights wrong, they just come for me. So yeah, I think I'm my worst critic. So we improve next time. I love and appreciate all of you. If you made it this far, please like, subscribe, share, and I don't know, I'll do better as far as content goes and even predictions. But I think my predictions are pretty good, man. I think I've been in the top 10 of the best predictors on YouTube since like for the past 9 months, so it shows consistency on my end. But yeah, anyway, I love and appreciate all of you. Until next time, deuces.